Scott.
I'm Ben.
And this is a review on today's episode, which is episode 56 or 71, if you actually count. I don't know. The numbering's fucked. Anyways, we're reviewing Cold Pursuit. Oh boy, so Cold Pursuit. Actually, we just had a very interesting development with the movie Cold Pursuit, but it's a movie starring Liam Neeson. You know, the racist Liam Neeson, that guy that wants to hunt down the black bastards. So we reviewed that movie where he's hunting down. What kind of bastards is he hunting down in this movie? Miscellaneous gangsters.
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to avoid that whole thing because I don't really care, frankly. He's probably a racist. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. So,
I mean, that whole controversy is going to become the best thing that this movie is known for because...
I know, right? Well, yeah, so this movie is terrible. We'll just start this review off by this movie is terrible. I had a really hard time staying awake during this.
Yeah, it's really goddamn boring.
It's very bizarre, and the editing is very choppy, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But what we just found out about Cold Pursuit is that it is a remake of a Norwegian film called In Order of Disappearance, and it's starring Stellan Skarsgård, and we just watched the trailer, and based on the trailer, Cold Pursuit is literally a shot-for-shot remake of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's the same director. And he just made it like 4 years ago.
Yeah, this movie came out like 2014. Like this isn't like the Hitchcock doing The Man Who Knew Too Much, where there's like decades and massive advances in like filmmaking technology and a way bigger budget and like redoing your mistakes and like doing stuff better. Nope. This is just shot for shot, just a different dude in America.
Yeah, and it's just Liam Neeson. They just the new actors, an American cast, but like the movie looks exactly the same. Like every single shot in the trailer was a scene I remember vividly from the movie, and it was all the best scenes from the movie, frankly. And it looked much better. This looked much better than Cold Pursuit. I'd much rather watch In Order of Disappearance. I'm not going to because
we've already seen it.
Yeah, God
just
help
in
me
English.
If I have to sit through that shit again. So, the other interesting thing about Cold Pursuit is Liam Neeson, in one of the controversial interviews, the one thing we will talk about is he mentioned it's a dark comedy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was just, like, saying that to, like... I don't know why. I don't know if he was just saying that. I don't know if that's intentional. But I watched this movie with that lens of, like, okay, is this a dark comedy?
It's really not.
But it feels like it's trying to be. So there's like all these weird, awkward... So basically the story here is Liam Neeson's son is involved... He gets... I don't know. Like, he gets involved with heroin dealers?
Yeah, he stole a bag of heroin.
From the airport.
Yeah.
But, like, was he working for...
He was just working at the airport. I think he was just trying... He was
like
dumb kid, made a mistake, like, tried to, like, steal some H for some money.
It's very unclear. They don't really do a good job of making it clear. But basically the bad guy, whose name is... Viking.
Instead of in the Norwegian movie where he's called the Count.
Yeah.
Why is it that he's called the Viking in the American version, but the one set in fucking Norway where there actually were Vikings is called the Count, which is just a much more, like, transferable... Anglo or not
because it's a dark,
gangster name.
Because it's a dark comedy. He was being ironic. So the Count or the Viking, sorry. He kills Liam Neeson's son via heroin overdose, I guess. Or he like injects him with something and he dies of heroin overdose. And Liam Neeson, based on zero information at all other than his son died of a heroin overdose, he says, "My son's not a druggie. I'm gonna get those bastards." Right?
Yes.
That's like literally he has zero, like his son dies of a heroin overdose. That's something that happens in real life. And I get that it is a conspiracy in the movie, but like he doesn't have any real reason to believe that other than the fact that he doesn't think his son is a druggie. And then his wife leaves him for no discernible reason, played by Laura Dern, other than she was tired of being in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Why does she leave?
they try to play it like the strains of their grief are like ruining their marriage, but it's like 2 weeks, and it's like
in the first act.
yeah, like but it's like 2 weeks of like actual like diegetic time, and she's like, nah, fuck this, and just bails.
Like he just shows up and like the whole house
She's
is
gone.
gone, and she left a note, and it's just a
blank
blank piece of
note.
paper.
It's like, hey. And she barely talks in the movie.
She doesn't say a word.
She has like the opening scene where they're all like at the house where he apparently got picked up to get dropped off at the house to take mom's car to go to work.
It's like The Room. Like people just show up and then leave. Like you know, you're totally right. Like
I wish the son was Chris R.
I was me underwears. I was really confused by that scene until you just said that. I forgot about that, how it opened, but it was like
we were just stupid.
We were just starting this movie and we had no idea what we were in for. So then Liam Neeson, who is a plow driver in Detroit, Denver. I'm sorry, Denver. He finds the first guy that kills his son, and then he just kind of goes from there. And it's basically Death Wish. Honestly, it's just Death Wish.
Yeah.
But with Liam
similar.
Neeson.
Yeah.
And
blue collar Death Wish.
Yeah, it's a little bit more, I guess, like, you know.
And snowy.
Snowy, yeah. But that's the other problem with this movie is like you think that the snowplow is going to play a really big part in his like killing, but no, he just kills people with a gun in broad daylight, and then he just puts them in the back of the plow and drives them to a waterfall and then dumps them off every time. And it's like, what I thought the snowplow is just, he's just putting him in the back. Like,
yeah,
he could be using a van for this or any vehicle, really. Like, there's no reason the snowplow,
yeah,
other than the fact that he's nominated as Citizen of the Year. That's like the whole thing in the beginning. That's why nobody thinks he's guilty, because he's Citizen of the Year, Liam Neeson. Which, what the fuck is that? That's some Norwegian bullshit. It says it in the Norwegian version too. It's something that we don't do that. We don't do that. Maybe we do, but I don't think we do. And I was just like, what the fuck is Citizen of the Year?
You'd think, yeah, no, like you said, you don't need a snowplow for anything that he does besides run a
he does run a car
an abandoned
over.
Jeep off the road with it.
Yeah, nobody's even in it at
That's
the
it.
time.
He doesn't kill anyone with it.
No, you're right. He doesn't kill anybody with the snowplow.
That's a huge waste of opportunity.
At one point, the snowplow is parked during a shootout and somebody gets shot up again. Like and at one point he's laying next to a guy and he shoots him next to the snowplow.
He's beating a dude up in the plow, like in the actual
yeah. So he
plow
uses
part.
the snowplow when he's not driving it, but it's like, yeah, once again, it could just be a wall.
It's just a prop, yeah. It could be a wall or like a tree,
the ground,
or like a fence,
anything.
A chain link fence
is an unnecessary device.
And anything he does to haul the bodies could also just be accomplished with
he doesn't
like
hide
a crossover
them.
SUV for fucking, like, do you have trunk space for a body?
You see them just laying on top of a pile of snow whenever he carries them. It's like he doesn't even cover them in snow, nothing.
No.
So, no, okay, they do kill somebody with the snowplow the very last second of the movie. But it's not even the snowplow, it's a different thing,
it's
right?
a snow thrower.
Yeah.
Someone gets sucked into the snow thrower.
Yeah.
And like,
so we'll get into that. So it's him going around killing people, and every time he kills somebody, the screen goes black, and they have a white credit of the person's name with their nickname. So it'll be like, John Boyega, I don't know why his name, Bones, and it's like, what? And then they go from there, and it's like, I don't know why John Boyega popped in my head. I was like, John Boy, and then it was John Boyega. He's not in this film.
John Boorman, director of Excalibur.
Okay.
There you go.
Anybody. Joe Blow.
Yeah.
Goes in the snow blower, and he's dead. And it shows their name, and it has like a little credit with their nickname. And you know what it reminded me of was Boondock Saints. This movie had a very but not as like Boondock Saints. At least it was messy, but it was funny.
Correct.
Like it's at least it knows it's a comedy. Where this was like messy, goofy, kind of stylized Tarantino ripoff kind of thing going on, but it wasn't quite funny. It was just like too serious.
I found it very awkward.
It was very awkward.
It's like very awkward and confusing because like you have this like lethal wombo combo of really awkward, like attempts at dark, like, morbid humor
Yeah.
that sometimes work, sometimes don't.
Well, like there was a moment where like when the son dies and they're gurneying him in and they like are raising the body and it's like
Takes a
and
while.
it just keeps going and like I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be funny or not because like Liam Neeson's face is so serious. And, like it's kind of like a dark comedic moment. And I started like laughing, and nobody in the theater was laughing.
I was kind of getting away.
Yeah, we were laughing a bit, but it was just like, is this funny? But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it never consistently maintained that.
No, because like it doesn't have like kind of like you said, like Boondock Saints does have a very direct like this is action. This like this, it knows it's schlock. This
Right.
is played like it doesn't know that it's schlock, and it's just like this kind of more straightforward like action, because then it gets all convoluted with like the Native American gang like subplot.
Yeah, there's a
and
whole
shit.
subplot in this movie where the main character, which once again, who looks like Brandon Urie, the lead singer of Panic at the Disco, does he not?
I chime in.
So we got Brandon Urie as the villain, and he's like the biggest asshole villain ever. Like we talked about Jason Clarke on Serenity Review about how big of an asshole he is, but like this guy watched Serenity and was like, no, I can hold my beer, Jason Clarke. I can go bigger.
Oh god.
And like this guy just hates Native Americans for some reason. I mean, there's a rival gang, I guess, there's also selling heroin that's all Native Americans, so I guess that's why. But he's always like, those damn Indians. He's basically like Liam Neeson with black people. He's just like, oh, those Indian bastards. I'm gonna hunt them all down. Like literally the whole movie, he's doing.
There's a couple like go back to the reservation lines. And
oh my
shit.
god! At
like,
one point, this what actually did make me laugh out loud because it's so bad and like what the fuck. But like at one point, a whole like group of Indian like heroin dealers walk into or Native American. Sorry, I don't want to get bogged down into this man's racism. Bunch of the Native Americans walk into this hotel. This very white, literally white fuzz everywhere, led by white people all over, very on the nose hotel. And the lady goes, "Do you have a reservation?" And they all like stone-faced look at her. They're like, "Did you just tell us to go back to the reservation?" And it's like, okay, like that's literally the kind of like, this is what we're dealing with in this movie. Like constantly, like every time, like there's a really weirdly consistent thread of these Native American like digs throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And we were really weirded out by that. But then watching the trailer for the Norwegian movie, they're supplanted by Serbians. They're like dirt talking, like, oh, the Serbs. So we're like, okay, this maybe makes a little bit more sense. We're like in the Norwegian film, that kind of like
in Europe, that like European rivalry, because that's like a real thing,
right? Whereas like this like Native American versus white people thing was like really, I don't know, it was really
they weren't
weird.
really thinking about like the context of that.
No, it was just like, let's just supplant this. That's really what it feels like after having watched that trailer, you know. So that was awkward, and there's a lot of just creepy Native American jokes throughout this movie that are weird, right?
Yeah.
And it you know, like a lot of movies when they'll have the villain doing that, and it's obviously supposed to be the filmmaker, like saying or like being like, look at how bad this is. This movie doesn't necessarily. It just feels like the director's making fun of Native American people. Like it doesn't quite go the length of being like, oh, this is really bad. It's like, yeah, this guy's just saying this stuff and it's fine. Like,
yeah, it's like that casual racism.
Yeah. And you'll notice we haven't really mentioned Liam Neeson that much in a while because he disappears intermittently in this film for like 30 minutes at a time. There'll just be gaps where he's just gone.
Yeah.
And you don't know where he's gone to. And it's very bizarre.
And most of the time he's on screen when he's not like, he's mostly talking.
Well, yeah, and the kills are lame.
Yeah.
Like, he just walks up on people
tame.
and shoots them. They're usually off camera. You usually see off-camera blood. Like, it was weird. It felt like it could have been PG-13 in a lot of ways. But the language was, you know, they swore pretty profusely and all that. But the blood was all off-screen. You know what I mean? Like, you never saw somebody's head get blown up or anything like that.
Correct. Yeah. It could have been... That would have tilted it way more toward it being a dark comedy, like where it's like this really, if you have this really over the top, almost like cartoonish gore.
Well, and there was so
that
many.
that alone would have made it play at least more what I think they were trying to go for.
That's what was frustrating about this is you watch the trailers and you hear dark comedy thrown out there and you think, oh, this is going to be Taken, but they're kind of making fun of the formula.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that at all. It's just Taken. It's just a shittier version of Taken, literally.
Yeah.
Like, Liam Neeson's fighting in this movie is dog shit. Like, he looks like a confused old man. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's scenes where he's like, there's a point where he's surrounded by guns and like something happens and he gets up and he's like looking around like he doesn't know where the fuck he is. And you just feel bad for him. It's like, oh my God.
I was thinking about Taken earlier today because of this movie. And I'm like, man, Taken's really tight. You know, like it sets it up pretty well. It establishes this guy at like, we don't really get a lot of what he is as a character besides Snowplow guy.
Well, no, this movie is baffling. Other than Citizen of the Year and Snowplow guy, but if he's such a Citizen of the Year, why does his wife leave him? Like, it's like,
yeah,
yeah, you don't like even when we were trying to figure out like what the relation the son had to Viking, whatever the fuck his name is. It was like really like it's so jumpy and it just scenes just randomly happen and you're just all of a sudden in places and it's like, how did we get here? How did he get this? How did this happen? It's very scattery.
Yeah. The editing is really is almost inexplicable.
It's dog shit.
It's awful. Like even in the early goings where you're like kind of just seeing where this is going, like you're not really formed an opinion on the movie yet.
Yeah.
I was within the first 5 minutes I was like, huh? Like,
yeah.
What?
Well, and then like and then like halfway through the movie, yeah, like we were talking like about halfway point is where this like weird go back to the reservation hotel scene goes on, and then like from that there's a hard cut to like all of the Native American guys are out on this mountain just like alone, just grouped up on a snowy hill, just throwing snowballs at each other,
just having some merry making.
And one of the Native American guys is about to go parachuting. And the white guy telling him how to do it is like trying to tell him what to do. And he's like, no, Whitey, I know how to fly. And he pushes the guy and then he jumps and he flies away. And at one point you see Liam Neeson, like you think he's going to shoot the guy down, but he never does. And the guy just flies away and you never see him again. So that's like halfway through the movie. Hold on to that. So the movie keeps going and going and going. And Liam Neeson kills a lot of people. And at the end, the Native American gang shows up to fight the white guy gang because the Vikings lead henchman was gay with one of the other henchmen that he ends up killing as an example. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
There was a whole subplot where the main henchman was like in love with one of the other henchmen and they were like making out in a car. And then in the next scene, the bad guy kills that henchman and then I guess the main henchman was mad because he killed his lover, so he betrays them. The Native American gang shows up. There's a big shootout. Liam Neeson does none of the killing. He's just running away constantly.
He's a very passive protagonist.
Yeah. And then him and the Native American drug lord, White Bull?
White Bull. Yeah.
They drive off in the snow shooter thing, which is like basically like a big grindy thing that shoots snow out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was really confused at this point, like, what their relationship was, like why White Bull was like pointing a gun at Liam Neeson and like they weren't sure if they were like friends or not, but Liam Neeson didn't have beef with him. You know what I mean? Like there was just this whole weird moment between these two characters that had never interacted before where you don't really know what to feel. And it's like the movie's wrapping up. We're like, okay, I guess they're like the White Bull falls asleep and Liam Neeson doesn't kill him and he wakes up. He's like, oh, you didn't kill me. And they kind of have this like respect for each other. I don't fucking know. And then, remember the guy that was parachuting? He shows up and is like, woo, still parachuting, even though it's been like hours or days or...
Yeah, days.
Who knows how long it's been, but this guy's still parachuting. And then he just gets sucked up by he flies in front of Liam Neeson and gets sucked into the snow shooter. And the movie ends with him getting like all the pieces of the parachute shooting out the back. And Liam Neeson and the chief just look at each other like, they, you know what I mean? Like there's like this comedic, like just like serious look at each other like, oh my God. And then the movie just cuts to black and it has like another one of those stupid title cards for that character, and the movie's over, and it's just like the most like, and that's what made me really think like, yeah, this was trying to be funny, but it's what the fuck, like.
Incredibly bungled in execution. Incredibly.
It's baffling. This whole movie was baffling. Like I couldn't follow it at all.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's just bad. It's not so bad it's good. It's just like, okay, you fucked up on that, you fucked up on that, you fucked up on that. That was dumb.
Yeah,
this edit doesn't make sense.
Don't let my comparison of The Room fool you. It's not The Room. Like, it's not that bad. It's bad, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But it's not good enough to be. It's the worst kind of bad, frankly.
Yeah, where it's like,
there's nothing you can get out of this.
Yeah, this is just a waste. It's a waste of time.
All right, so waste of time. Final thoughts, Ben.
Boring, dumb, not funny, not fun, not even schlock.
Yeah.
Basically, the total opposite of what you would expect a movie called Cold Pursuit and a trailer where it's played like snowplow guy goes on murdered revenge spree after son dies. It's just like confused, borderline senile snowplow guy beats up and kills a couple people, and then a really convoluted dumb gang war happens with gay panic and casual racist stuff, and then the movie's over. Boo.
What would you give it?
Like, what, 2? Some stuff was funny. Some things do work, I guess, occasionally. 2 broken noses out of 10.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck Liam Neeson. Fuck this movie. This movie sucks. I wish that I could have maybe have seen the original one before seeing this, because it looks interesting more than this does, but I don't want to watch it now. I'm still not going to get into the Liam Neeson controversy, but you know what? Fuck him. He's a racist, and fuck this movie, and fuck his career. I hope he doesn't make any more movies, not because he's a racist, but because this movie sucks. And if that's what has to be to get him to not make any more movies, then fuck him. That's fine, because this is done. This whole, like, I'm going to go and kill a bunch of people because revenge, that's done. We're done with that. I'm done. I don't want to see it anymore. This could have been good.
This could have been
but
a lot
sucks.
of fun, but it's really bad.
So I give Cold Pursuit. I give it 1. I give it 1 Mel Gibson out of 10.
Oh no.
Which, by the way, Mel Gibson, this would have been much better if he would have been the star of Cold Pursuit. Cold Pursuit with Mel Gibson, and make it like more like Mad Max, make it crazier.
Yeah, make it where like he's insane. That's why I'm so psyched
Yeah,
about.
make it insane.
That's why I'm so okay. There's a couple. Bloodfather.
Yeah.
We have to watch.
Yeah.
We also have to watch Get the Gringo or whatever.
Okay, I've seen Get the Gringo.
That one's
Get the Gringo ruled. That was
that
Get
one
the
kicks
Gringo.
ass.
That's actually a great comparison to this movie, because
Yeah.
it was made during the height of Mel Gibson's controversy, which was much worse, by the way. Mel Gibson is a much worse person than Liam Neeson. If you're comparing these two controversies,
Yeah.
That movie came out at the height of that, and it didn't get released. It was straight to VOD, and I watched that shit, and it's great. It's a great movie.
Kicks a lot of ass.
But nobody saw it because,
yeah,
obviously,
it was before Hacksaw Ridge. It was in that weird space
Yeah.
where like enough time had passed where Mel Gibson could work again,
Yeah.
but also not like I'm gonna flex on these fools.
But like people
and
are still,
be an
it's
awesome
still,
director again.
it was still super awkward when he showed back up on all the late night circuits, and everyone's like, I don't know about this. Like
He did. There's another movie back like in 2010 where it was like his first lead role.
Yeah.
Since the initial incident, and
Yeah.
there's a bunch of really funny. Because he's still clearly like an alcoholic.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
he's doing the circuit, and he has this really contentious interview with this guy from like KTLA, and the guy's like, well, what about the controversy? He's like, what are you referring to exactly? He's like, do you have a dog in this fight? Mel Gibson's like drinking a latte, like trembling.
It's
and
like South Park. Go on, I can take it. Go on, pinch my nipples. I can take it.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. It's way more that Mel Gibson, and it is gold. It's awesome.
Oh man. Oh, good old. Gotta love these Gotta love these controversies. They're always hoot and holler for these actors, right?
Yeah. Just hours of material for us to chew on.
Always makes
their
our
filmographies.
always makes our job fun trying to review these movies. Like, oh, this came out right when. Are people boycotting this movie? Are we not allowed to watch this? But you know what I mean? Like, you never know what the. But we watched this movie and it's terrible. So you know what? There you go, internet. We watched it just so we could take him down, and we did. We took him down. He's down a peg. Boom roasted.
Hashtag fuck Liam Neeson. Hashtag.
So that's the end of this review. I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.